We've done the best to use the celebrations for the centenary of the ANC to renew the organization, rebuild it. That renewal comes in many forms. The first one is that there is a beehive of activity in the organization. The magic of the flame is unbelievable. In the point the way it has gone through, you can see the difference because it revives commitment, it recommits people, and people feel part of the ANC beyond just the membership of the ANC. A liberation movement is a character of an organization. We don't want to rid ourselves of that character. A character that appreciates that its primary responsibility is to mobilize and organize all classes and strata in society. So that characterization of a liberation movement is not necessarily mutually exclusive from being a political party, but it's a character. It's like calling ourselves the mass character of the ANC, the multi-class character of the ANC. Now you can't rid yourself of that and say, I'm clean now, I'm a pure party, and therefore I'm no longer a mass. I don't have that mass character. I'm ridding myself of that multi-class character. You see, when you get expelled in the organization, it's not a life sentence. You can after a time apply back to the organization. But when you reapply, that's why we have a probation when we look into applications. We want to, in the proposal that in the policy document now, we want to extend that from 8 weeks to 6 months. And the reason for that is, if such a member reapplies, there must be a process of screening that member. How did that member behave during that period? Is there any visible remorse? Can that person be accepted back to the organization? What processes should he or she be subjected to on readmission? At this point in time, we're not aware of any cases of those people having reapplied. The first thing is that you must understand the character of the alliance. It's an inter-class alliance. You have a liberation movement which is a multi-class movement in alliance with two working class formations that have specific mandates. One is a trade union federation, and it is not going to come to the alliance to raise demands for its members. It's a trade union federation. Therefore, those members will always have demands. When they raise those demands sharply and sometimes in the public sector against the government, it doesn't mean that there is a conflict in the alliance. Trade unions are tabling demands to the employer, who happens to be a democratic government. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me start with the principle of deploying people. It should never be one or the other. It should be a combination of loyalty and competence. If you subtract one, that deployment is a disaster on day one. It's not greater development that is a disaster. It is wrong deployment that is a disaster. People must meet the requirements of a job they're deployed to. They must be competent. They must be subjected to a selection process and perform in that process. Toll gates are here all over, and toll gates are in every country I've been to. That is developed infrastructure, all of it. Whether it is China or Cuba or any European country, you'll find toll gates. The countries is a total new technology. And obviously people will be suspicious of it. And in my own view is that let's just continue engaging, finding solutions. How do we ensure that we pay off the debt incurred for the Gauteng Highway Improvement Project, which is one project, one province. many of the suggestions that were saying everybody must pay for that road, I am against that. Let me tell you why I'm against that. I don't think a poor province like the Eastern Cape or the Free State that has no infrastructure to show off must pay for world-class infrastructure in Gauteng. We must just have a discussion on how to pay for our infrastructure in Gauteng. It's like asking the whole world, as we to a great extent did, to pay for Gautrain. It's not a national project, it's a provincial project. The province must foot the bill. You enjoy world-class infrastructure, pay for it. No, that report is helpful because it takes the media out of its comfort zone. Total. That report takes the media out of its comfort zone. Totally. Bring is where it should be. And it addresses many of the concerns that we're raising. You know, many of the media houses focus on the proposal of a media appeals tribunal without applying its mind to issues that we're raising. All those issues, without exception, are covered by that Press Freedoms Commission report. And to me, that is what dialogue means. And we're taking that report to the NEC next week to just make take a decision. We'll still give it to Parliament as well to say, look at the report, and then we'll come back with a final view on the matter.